Written communication skills are important for students preparing for college and careers. One way educators can support student writing development is through smarter, balanced performance tasks. The English Language Arts performance tasks allow students to demonstrate their writing skills through real-world scenarios. To support educators' scoring of the writing component of the performance tasks, Smarter Balance developed an easy-to-use application called the Smarter Annotated Response Tool, or SmART. This video will walk through the tool, showcasing how writing tasks are scored and how educators can use SmART to support student writing. The English Language Arts performance tasks consists of two parts. Part 1 includes 1 or 2 research-based questions for students to answer after reading multiple texts about a common topic. The foundation of SmART is Part 2, which consists of an extended writing task on the same topic. This task requires students to respond to a writing prompt for a particular audience and purpose. Their response needs to include supporting information from source materials. There are 3 possible writing purposes: narrative, informational and explanatory, and opinion and argumentative. Understanding how writing tasks are scored helps educators better understand grade-level expectations as they support students' writing growth throughout the year. Students' responses are scored on 3 traits: organization and purpose, evidence and elaboration, and conventions. Scoring rubrics for each trait establish the possible points a student can earn on the task. They also provide a framework for educators to use when scoring and help increase consistency and decrease biases. Each trait of the rubric is scored separately. For example, an educator will evaluate grammar and spelling as part of the conventions trait, but not take them into account when scoring the other 2 traits. This allows students to demonstrate areas of strength and areas needing improvement in each trait. Now let's take a moment to look at what SmART offers. SmART provides samples of student work with rubric scores and annotated explanations for why a particular score was given. For example, the annotation might explain how aspects of a student's writing align with a score of 2 for the trait organization and purpose. Let's explore how educators can use SmART to support student writing. A 6th grade teaching team is preparing a unit on writing explanatory texts. The team plans to administer a performance task at the end of the unit. They decide to use the World's Fair performance task from the Smarter Balanced Sample Items website. In preparation for the unit, the team looks at the scoring rubric to review the grade-level expectations for the performance task and calibrate their scoring as a team. To view the relevant rubric for the unit, the team lead opens the SmART homepage and selects Download Rubric PDF from the explanatory tile for grades 6 through 11. She shares the rubric with the team and they review and discuss it together. After studying the rubric, the team decides they are ready to apply it to some student work samples in SmART in order to calibrate their scoring. To access the grade 6 student writing samples, the team lead selects the notebook icon on the home page. This directs her to the Search Annotated Student Responses page. She selects Grade, opting for grade 6, and selects Save. She then selects Purpose, opting for Explanatory, and selects Save. This filters the results to show the different student samples of the grade 6 explanatory task, World's Fair. For this activity, they are focusing on the trait organization and purpose. The team lead selects 1 sample from each score point for the team to score. To view the writing sample, she selects a row to display the student response page. She sends the team an email with the links to each student response. The teachers will be able to view the student response without seeing the score. It is important to note, if a user selects View Prompt and Target and Standards for this response, a pop-up window displays 2 options. The first option, Explore the Sample Item, links to the Smarter Balanced Sample Items website to review the source material and writing task that prompted this student's work. The second option is to select Explore the Target. This links to the Content Explorer website to review the knowledge, skills, and abilities assessed by the writing task. The teachers score each student response independently. Afterward, the teachers toggle the Scoring and Annotations button to On. This feature illustrates the exciting power of SMART. It allows educators to see the student scores as well as notes explaining how the scores were earned. As a group, they discuss what they learned from the annotations. They repeat the process with the other students' responses to calibrate their scoring. With their calibrated understanding of the performance task rubric, the teachers begin their unit on explanatory writing. As an activity to clarify the intended learning for the unit, each teacher shows their class the directions for the World's Fair writing task and provides students time to ask questions. Students learn that this will be a task they will be asked to complete towards the end of the unit. Once students understand the task, each teacher displays the rubric on the whiteboard to help students understand how their writing will be scored. Together, they discuss the different traits and score points within the rubric. The teachers guide the students to individually fill out a blank copy of the rubric in their own words, using what they learned from the class discussion. When the activity is complete, students have a copy of the rubric to reference throughout the learning process and when completing their writing task. Students complete the writing task for the World's Fair performance task. The teachers are ready to score student work and support the students in strengthening their writing. To explore this tool and discover more about how student work is scored, visit the Smarter Annotated Response Tool today at smart.smarterbalance.org.
2022 Regents of the University of California.